Hey everyone, so for chapter 3, there are only a couple of things that we really need to focus on. The microenvironment and the macro environment. Okay, those are the broader pictures. And so what is it that we're talking about here? We're talking about analyzing the firm's marketing environment, macro and micro. Okay, so this would be sort of examples of the microenvironment. The company, the suppliers, the marketing intermediaries, the competitors, the publics, and the customers. Now this is sort of broken down individually in slides. So if you look at the company, how is the company itself affecting marketing, right? So top management, finance, research and development, information technology, purchasing, operations, human resources, accounting, right? How do they affect the marketing department? And how do they affect the marketing that you're doing? You got suppliers who are putting pressure on the marketing department by not having the goods or the services that you need, right? So it provides resources to you. You've got marketing intermediaries. Now, marketing intermediaries is something that a lot of people are confused about. These are usually tremendously valuable outside firms that help you actually get your job done. Meaning that get your product from you to the customer. And it usually involves like resellers, wholesale distributors, marketing service agencies, and even sometimes people who are doing financing for your group. But think of the marketing intermediaries as your channel partners, those people who help you get the stuff from you to your customer. So if you are Apple, so they show you a picture of Apple up here, right? The marketing intermediaries that Apple might use to get Apple products to customers, they've got their own stuff, their own internal things, they've got their own website, they've got their own Apple stores, but the intermediaries would be people like Best Buy or the carriers that actually sell their phones in their carrier stores. So I'm talking about Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, whoever it is that you use as a carrier. Oftentimes you go there, you get a phone from them. Well, that phone could be an Apple phone. So they are marketing intermediaries. They get it from you to the customer. You've got competitors who are going to be putting pressure on you as part of your microenvironment. Okay, what are the publics? This is another thing that people get worried about. Marketing has to communicate with, say, people who are on Wall Street, providing financial services. They're investors. They are a public that you might be concerned about. You might be concerned about the media as a public, as a group of people that you want to communicate with. You may be concerned about government agencies or certain citizen action groups or local politicians or even local groups of people. Like you could have let's say that Mercy is thinking about building another dormitory. They want to make sure that they communicate with the condominium complex next to the Dobbs Ferry campus to let them know that this isn't going to be a problem, right? So then you get general publics and internal publics. Internal publics would be like your own people, your own employees that work for you. Okay, and you've got your customers and different types of markets. You got typical consumer products, so you're dealing with end users, but you've also got business to business markets. You've got reseller markets. You've got government markets. Okay, international markets. Right. Now the macro environment is things in the broader world. So this could be demographics, economics, natural technology. We're going to go through some of these individually. So let's talk about demographics. Are there demographics changes that affect the viability of your business? For example, people are having fewer children. If you've got a nursery school or elementary school or even a college, that will eventually affect you. In fact, colleges look at the fact that there were fewer 18 to 22-year-olds right now. And so they're looking at the trend and they can see well in advance of how many 18 to 22-year-olds are there going to be in 10 years from now. Because those kids are already born, right? Those kids are already in elementary school. So you start looking at this and you could begin to see how you might change your business over time. You could take a look at seeing if a certain ethnic group has all of a sudden moved into your neighborhood. You run a grocery store and for whatever reason, all of a sudden you've got a whole group of Indonesian people who have moved into your neighborhood. Well, you might start thinking about selling Indonesian cuisine, right? Things that they would normally have in Indonesian cooking. And I'm not an expert on that, but I'm sure there are certain things that are not normal to Western cooking that, Indonesian people would probably want to have. So you look at those demographic environments and trends, and you sort of start thinking about how that's going to affect your business. I don't like talking about generational trends because I honestly think that it's overplayed. For example, I've had students tell me, well, people who are baby boomers, they don't know anything about technology. Let me explain something to you. I'm a baby boomer. Right now, I'm surrounded by 5 different monitors on 3 different operating systems, and I have it all tied together through one software interface to allow me to use one keyboard and mouse. I spent 30 years in the technology industry. I guarantee I know more about technology than the vast majority of you. I actually made a living at one point running a business that trained people, IT professionals, how to pass their certification exams. So claiming that people of a certain age don't know anything about technology is because they're born in a certain generation is just foolish. Yes, there are certain very, very broad trends that happen at a generational level, but it's not always there. And I think most of those very broad trends are overplayed and oversimplified. So that's my own take. I think generational marketing is too broad. Right. But that's just me. Okay, so we look at demographic environments. Economic environments. Okay, economic environments are big. So, for example, right now, as we're in 2022, as I'm recording this, and I'm looking back over the last couple of months, and mortgage rates went from just under 3% or around 3% to the middle 5s right now percent. Well, it probably between 5.3 and 5.6% right now if you went to get a mortgage and you had a really high credit score. And that's going to again probably by the end of the year go up another couple of points. If I was in the real estate business, particularly home mortgage or home business or home mortgage business, I would be petrified. I would be very upset about what my future looks like. So understanding that can be an important thing. Looking at how the economy is going to affect your business and then what you might have to do to try to keep yourself viable. What kind of marketing, what kind of messaging, how is the economy going to affect your core customers? Now, if you were selling Bentleys right now, probably wouldn't make much of a difference, right? People who buy Bentleys are in the upper 1%. They're not affected at all by what's going on here. So they're going to buy them or not buy them. It doesn't make a difference. The economy really has very little pressure on them. Where if you were taking a look at people who were trying to finance a much more modest car, along with everything else that's going on, the economic pressures of increasing the interest rates on the car loans might be a problem. So, again, how does the economy affect you and affect your business? Times are bad in the economy. Bankruptcy attorneys do really well. Times are bad in the economy. People who are servicing the lower half of the economy for luxury items or non-necessary items probably don't do as well. So, just a thought. Okay. Natural environment, again, here's the things you can look at trends. Right now, would you want to buy a hotel on the beach in Puerto Rico? Now, if you haven't been to Puerto Rico, it is a beautiful place. It's a lovely island. It's got wonderful people. It's got great culture. It's got great food. The beaches are phenomenal. You'd love to be there, right? Except for the fact that in the last 5 years, there's been a hurricane there every year, and there's been earthquakes. So those natural environment things could affect your business viability. So you're going to take a look at that and see how does that affect your marketing. All right. Technology environment. So what is relevant, what is not relevant, and it doesn't have to be super high tech. It could be something very modest that can make a change here. So understand that new technologies provide new opportunities and oftentimes make other things obsolete overnight. And so what's on the horizon that could affect you from a technological point of view? Okay. And the political environment, social political environment, what's going on with the government. More not who's in the White House as much as how could that affect the regulatory environment? How could that affect your products? So you're having your stuff manufactured in China and all of a sudden the US starts putting tariffs on Chinese goods. That's a problem, right? It's going to affect your price and that's going to affect your marketing. If there's a social trend that could make your product either more attractive or less attractive based upon your product's history, based upon what's happening in the social environment, be aware of it. Same thing with culture. It's really social environment. People's views of themselves and others and organizations and society and nature, universe, that sort of thing. Okay, and I think that's it. So, relatively simple. The microenvironment are those things that are dealing directly with the firm. The macro environments are the broader environment, the economy, nature, that kind of thing, right? So that affect everybody, not just your firm. And so what are those factors that affect you?